Okay, so I'm going to move on real quickly now to academic planning. All right, and let me just do a quick overview of some points, and then we'll get all of you to make a copy and on the link of the academic plan form, and then each individual will fill it up. You'll share it with me, peterliu@hawaii.edu, so that both of us have access to it. So whenever you make changes, you can just put a comment. Hey, Dr. Peter, is this okay? Then I can respond and let you know too. All right. So that's a really nice asynchronous way of us keeping in touch with our academic advising virtually as well. Okay. So let me just go ahead and start. All right. So here we are. Let me start by doing a quick. This is a slide that we used yesterday, and I wanted to just continue and talk a little bit about this. Okay. So registration process. You will go to start.hawaii.edu to register. Okay. In the department, all right, we actually categorize our courses. Each course will have two sections. What we call a campus section with a 5-digit course CRN, right? Course registration number, and an online section for 4-digit CRN. All right. Now, regardless, you're all in the online delivery. The way you register determines what you have to pay for your student activity fees, right, versus administrative fees, but also which section you register will depend on how you're registering also. Okay, so let me just start by saying, okay, in general, if you are a self-paying student, all right, it behooves you to just pay and register for the extension or the online section with the 4-digit CRN, right? Which is what I generally give you all of overrides for that. So for 600, you do that with Dr. Peck, and 602 with me. When you register for this, you only pay $142 administrative fee in addition to whatever the tuition is. Okay. If you decide to choose to register for a campus section, which is a 5-digit CRN number, here's where it's a hefty amount for student fees, because generally they charge on campus student this bulk student activity fee because you get free, football tickets, all the athletic event tickets, you get free access to the Warrior gym on campus, right? Those are what you get free as a on-campus student, right? So if you're not on campus, really, why pay so much for the student activity fee, right? So unless you tell me differently, some students tell me, like, you know what, I really want to come and get all the free tickets, and I also want to get, to use the gym and all that, then you can register for this, right? Otherwise, we recommend registering, self-paying student register for this extension online section with a 4-digit CRN. Now, if you're on a tuition waiver, which you're faculty, staff, then you will always register for the campus section, right? For faculty staff waiver, you will register only on the first day of the semester, which means all of you who are faculty staff waiver will not register until Monday. All right, don't worry, your seat is there. Like I said, you're in the course already, but in order to get credit, to get a grade, you need to register in the STAR system and pay the whatever fees you are required. Okay, so that's the main differential here. Now, if you're a GA, all right, you get tuition waiver, you will still register for the on-campus, but you can register anytime before Monday. Right, I know some of you, like Jennifer, you already registered for that, so that's fine. Okay, only faculty staff will have to wait. You cannot register until the first day, otherwise you'll pay. You won't get the waiver, right? And that's because the idea is you wait until all the other paying students get in first before you get in, right? But for us, you always get in with us. All right, so be sure you guys you'll receive all of these guides already in the email, in the welcome orientation and all that, and Kitty has emailed you, right? So please take note of all of these guides when you register appropriately as a GA, as an employee, or in general, just for the extension semester as an online student. Okay. Understand, if you don't understand this, just a quick review. There might be restrictions. So register is restricted to major, so which means you are an LTAC major, so you may register without approval. If it says restriction instructor approval, then you have to contact the instructor. This happens typically for our elective courses, where we want to make sure that the students who come to electives are appropriately prepared. So the instructor will approve. Just email them, say, I'd like to take the elective, and then they'll do a course override. Okay. If you do have restriction issues, take screenshots. So sometimes they might say, oh, time conflict. And you're like, wait, where's the time conflict? Email and send it to Kitty and she can help you. All right. So here's my one sentence of advice. Anytime you have an issue with administrative, registration, whatever, you know, tuition, waiver, tuition, financial aid and all that, Kitty is your go-to person, because I don't know a lot about that system. Also, if you're an international student, ask Kitty or go to the international student office for that. All right. If you have any question about academic advising, which means what courses to take to graduate, how many credits do I need to come to me, because I deal with academic advising. All the administrative stuff goes through the office, specifically through Kitty. Okay. Really quickly, because I'm going to talk about this as an option for you to do in conjunction, concurrently with your master's degree, is the graduate certificate in online learning and teaching, the COLE, what we call COLE. And this is 5 courses, right? And 3 are required, but all of these 5 courses are listed as elective courses for your master's degree. So in essence, remember, to graduate, you have to do your you have to take 5 elective courses, right? In addition to all the core required courses, right? So the 5 electives will double count as your graduate certificate courses as well as your master's. So you get 2 for the price of 1, but we'll go through some of the intricacies of making sure that you are going to be able to meet both requirements. Okay. So is it designed for, when people say, oh, do I really need to do this, Dr. Peter? I say, well, you know, it's entirely up to you, right? It's not, you're getting a master's degree, which is a terminal degree, or a higher degree, not terminal, a PhD is a terminal degree. So if push comes to shove, prioritize finishing up your master's courses, right? If you can't fit in your schedule, then it might behoove you to just get an additional line in your transcript that you have a graduate certificate in online learning and teaching, all right? So here's where the difference may come in, right? You know, now with pandemic, everything, the online learning is really important. So if you have it on a transcript that says you have a graduate certificate in online learning and teaching, you may have an edge over someone who just has an MED, all right? So that may make a difference, but it's not make or break kind of deal thing, okay? So be thinking about it. This is a benefit for you. As a master's student, we want you to be aware about it. As a doc student too, they can do the course concurrently and will count as their elective if they have not done our master's program. Okay, so the course certificate, these are the required courses: 612, 673, and 632. Okay, and all these 3 are also listed as elective courses for your master's. Right, so can you see now where the double counting occurs, right? They are required courses for the purpose of the graduate certificate, but they're also elective courses for our master's degree. Okay, so you can definitely kill 2 birds at the same time. Now, this is where you need to take note of the intricacies of the scheduling. 612 is typically offered in summer and spring. How many of you took 612 this past summer? Jennifer, Meryl, David. Okay, good. So you are on the right track if you want to do a graduate certificate in COLE as well as master's, because you have this. And remember, since you have done it prior to the start of the admission in August, you need to fill out that petition to transfer the credit, right? So I email it to Kitty, CC me on the email, so that she'll transfer the credit into your course and it will appear in your transcript, all right, and count towards your MED graduation, okay? And then 673 is all this offer in this fall, and spring is for 632. You will always only graduate with your master's degree in the spring semester. So as you can see here, right, spring and spring. So if you're graduating for your COLE and master's degree concurrently, you will see that 632 and your final master's course that you'll do with 690 will be in the same spring semester typically, right? In addition to these 3 required courses, you have 2 other elective courses, which you can take any elective we have in our program, including the 400 level electives that will count towards your COLE. Okay, just take note though, of the 2 electives here, only 1 400 level can count towards the code. I know there's a lot of restrictions, so whenever you come to the point where you're not sure, you can consult me about, okay, does it count or not? Okay, so this is just overview of what the code certificate is about. Okay, so if you go back to your virtual orientation weekend schedule agenda, and now we're at the 150 time slot and Miss Trivia and Big Picture Timeline. Click on this link, Academic Planning, and what it will do is it will automatically ask you to make a copy of this form. All right, so click on make a copy. I have already a copy ahead of time. So if you could all do that now and have a copy of it ready, and you can fill it in, and then I'll show you how the copy will work. It's just basically a plan, right, with PUCAs that you can fill in. You have the option of a 2-year plan worksheet and a 3-year plan worksheet, right? So if you're not sure at this point in time, you can work on both. If you're sure, then let's pick one or the other that you think you want to work on, okay? The first thing I want you to do here is click share, and then make sure you add my email address, peterleo@hawaii.edu, right? And give me, I don't know if I put Kitty here, give me editor privileges so I can actually work with you on this over time. Okay, you need to share with me. No, don't have to share with John or anyone else. This is between you and me as the academic advisor. All right, let me give you a minute. Everyone here? Chop chop. Everyone got this done? Yes, time's up. Thumbs up. You have this ready? Good. Excellent.
Oh, are you Peter Leong? Or sorry, are you Peter Leo at Hawaii or Peter.Leong?
Peter.Leong or Peter Leo. Either one. Yeah. I mean, because the actual one is Peter Leo at Hawaii.edu, but I created an alias, Peter.Leong. Because the original one they gave me was truncated, so I can create an alias. So both will reach me. But if you add, you always find, you type in Peter is Leo at Hawaii.edu. Okay? Did you get it, Sawyer? Were you able to do it, Sawyer? Yes, okay, good. All right. So there are many different scenarios we can play with. All right. And bear with me if you are not interested, that's fine. Just fill out according to what you need to do. All right. So in all of this, right, this is what you know, right? This semester, the required courses are all pre-filled for you. Okay. So fall, the first semester and all that will be pre-filled. So you can put year 1, and this will be what? This semester is fall 2022, yeah? And then fill in spring will be spring 2023, summer 2023, all right? And then the, so on and so forth, year 2 then will be fall 2023, and then graduating spring 2024, okay? So you can see your core classes are here. There's 6 core classes. And how many electives do you have to finish? 5, right? So you know the PUCAs here is where you need to fill up your 5 electives. I'm going to show you what not ideal, but the most optimal looking ones. Then we can talk about different permutations, because this will be many permutations depending on how you want to do it. So long as you have your first year, the first 2 semesters, you finish 600, 602, 611, 613, then the rest of it you can go at your own time. Okay, let me show you the first option, which is the ideal if you want to do both the code certificate and the master's concurrently, right, in a 2-year program. All right, this is pretty intensive. All right, so ideally, those of you who have taken 612, because again, 612 is always offered in the summer. You start with 612, you can transfer into, this will count as 1 year elective. Okay, so yeah, you can do 2 classes this semester if you've done 1 elective prior, and then you can do another 2 core classes, right, in the spring, and you're fine. Right, so this one, I'm sorry, this is from last year. So similarly, you can tell the difference here. 2023, summer 2023, fall 2023, and then spring 2024. In order for you to graduate with both the code certificate and the master's degree, you know that you have to take 2 electives in the summer, or you can take elective here, and not do any electives during the summer, because some people cannot qualify for tuition waiver in the summer and they don't take summer classes, but which means you have a heavy load. 9 credits is a full-time heavy load, and we don't recommend if you haven't been in school for some time. The best thing is to just keep the 2 core classes and then work in the elective over the summer. You need to have done the 3 electives before the start of your second year in the fall of 2023, because again, remember, you have to do this 687, 690 is your core class. And now you can do the other 2 required courses in the COPE program. Remember, COPE has 612, 673, and 632. And this is always offered in the fall and spring. Okay, so this is the ideal scenario for someone who plans to do in 2 years and to do both the COPE and the MAD concurrently. Any questions?
So if I didn't take 612 in the previous summer, could I add that to a fall elective or spring elective?
You can add it to a spring elective. It's usually offered in the spring. Remember, they
yeah.
are offered. Yeah, they're always offered in the summer and spring. Okay, so yes, good question. So if you have not taken this, right? Say we remove this one, then you can do 6 to 12 here. But remember, 9 credits is a very heavy load, especially in conjunction with 611 and 613, which are really core heavy. And John can tell you it's the most intensive core classes is your second semester core classes, because this is where you do the instruction design project, and this is where you learn about the different methodologies for research. Okay, the first semester is lighter, and so anyway, but it's possible. Yeah, key point. It's possible you do 613 here, and then any 2 electives, and then the 673 and 632.
Since the fall is later, would you recommend to do an elective in the fall and then move 612 to the summer?
Yes, I do recommend it if you can. But then again, it depends on where you are with, the course load, right? It might be lighter, but it's also the first time you're going back to school full time. All right, so it could be a challenge too. All right, so we generally recommend in the first semester, if you're not really comfortable with going back to full-time school, especially being out of school sometime, stick to just the 2 core classes. But yes, if you ask me honestly, between fall and spring, I would say take the elective in the fall and then just focus on the 2. John, do you agree with that, John?
Totally agree. Yes. I preach everything you said. I just want to make a note again that if you do want to graduate in 2 years, you have to take 3 electives before you enter your second year. That's the correct. Big note, the big note that you should pay attention to.
What did you do then, John? I don't remember now. So, did you take?
Yeah, so what I did was my first year, I took a full course load for both fall and spring. So I took 3 classes each semester, and then I took 1 summer course this past summer. So I have 3 electives entering my second year.
That's correct. Yeah. The important is you have to have taken 3 electives before you end the second year. All right. All right. So here's the ideal optimal if you are doing a 3-year program and doing both the COPE and the MED. Right. This is definitely very manageable. When you spread it over 3 years, then you do have a lot more of the breathing room. Okay. So here is again, these are your core required classes all pre-filled in for you, right? Including this one. Yeah. Okay, just ignore the year because the dates change, but the sequencing is there, right? So in this case, right, you just do the core classes the first 2 semesters, right? In the summer, you essentially start your COPE program in 612 in the summer, okay? And then in the fall and spring, you do the 673 and 632, right? The 2 other core classes in conjunction with any other 2 electives. So when you're doing a 3-year program, your second year is basically just doing electives, right? That being said, now you would have done all your courses for your COPE, 612, 673, 632, and the 2 electives. So which means you are done with all your electives required for your MAD, as well as you're done with your COPE certificate, all right? But the catch here, because it's concurrently, although you have completed technically your code degree here, you will not be awarded the graduate certificate until you graduate with your MED. It has to be concurrent, right? That's why some people are not clear. Like, but I finished, why don't I get my graduate certificate? No, you have to do it. You will only get both your graduate certificate and your MED concurrently when you finish your MED. Okay, so a 3-year program is definitely much easier on your time commitment, right? In order to finish your electives prior to starting your final year, right? Because the requirements, you need to finish at least 3 electives before your final year, right? In this case, you will have done all your 5 electives without having to take more than 2 classes per semester. And even here, if you can't take a summer, right, you can actually decide to do instead of 612 here, remember 612 is also offered in spring, so you could do 612 here, right? And then take another elective here instead of just the 2, instead of just 1 class per semester. Okay, so there is a way of doing all your classes during the regular semester without taking summer classes and without going over 3 classes as well, if you're doing the 3-year program. Okay. Now, having said that, I know it's not a luxury. Some people have a timeline. You need to get your promotion. You need to get whatever you want to be done because you want to get on with your life, right? Dr. Peter, I don't want to spend too much time. I just want to get on with my life. Yes, fine, you can. All right. So here's where it's even more interesting scenario. Is there anyone who has done 2 electives prior to starting the program? David? Okay, what are 2 that you did? Who else? David and Jennifer. Okay.
Oh, I took communications 432, social media.
Social media 448, sorry, 448. With Dr. Peck, right?
You know what? I think maybe I took the wrong ones. I took 432.
There's no, Com 432 doesn't count towards LTech.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, it has to be in
I took
LTech.
in summer.
So you only have, what was the other?
612.
Okay, so you have 612, okay. Jennifer, what do you do?
I took 651 with Dr. Hoffman in the first session, and then I took 612 in the second session with Dr. Ho.
Okay, so you have done 2, right? So kudos to you. You are way ahead of the timeline here. You've done 2 of the 5 electives. Okay, so do you think you want to do the code concurrently or not?
I'm signed up for it.
Okay, good. All right, let's assume. All right, for the case of this, we just assume that. All right.
Okay.
All right, and you want to do it in 2 years, correct?
Yes.
All right, sounds good. So you've done 2 already, okay? And then you can definitely, without going more than 2, you can just do 2 courses and then just 1 summer elective here. All right, so which means 1, 2, sorry, 3, 4. Oh, no, sorry. Yeah. So in this case, these 2 electives here will be your 673 for the elective, for the code, and 632. All right. So this way, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And every semester you only do 2 courses and 1 summer, unless you want to move one of this and do any point in time here as well.
Yeah, I registered for 654 for this because I really liked Dr. Hoffman's 651 class. I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to take 654 this term, and I want to take advantage of the tuition waiver while I have it. So yeah.
Right. Sounds good. So then you can definitely do this one here. And unfortunately, you will not be able to do 632 here because you haven't done 673. All right. So you can't do the last 2 courses until your final year when you do the 2. Right. So you here you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 electives, of which the 5 electives will count towards your codes as well. And then you have your core classes for your MED here. Okay. So this is really the ideal when you have taken more classes. And I know that many of you haven't done so. So do not worry, okay? There is always way for you to catch up if you can now, right? So here's that. I'm going to open up to anyone who has a scenario you want me to talk about now, okay? Anyone thinking about 2 years and haven't done any elective? Okay, Maya, Dylan, Epoy, Sawyer. Okay, cool. All right, so you haven't done any elective at this point in time, and if you are working full-time, all right, our recommendation is not to take 9 credits in a semester because it can be quite bad, right? But you have to do at least 1 semester with 9 credits. So my recommendation, if you can, do 1 elective this semester, right? And then just leave this 2 for spring. And then you have to do the other 2 electives in the summer. Summer 1, summer 2, or 2 summer, right? That way you will have done your 3 elective courses prior to the 2nd year, right? And then here you do 697, 690, and you have to do 1 elective each semester. All right. So that being the case, you will have completed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this one doesn't take into account at all, right? The code, because remember the first option I showed you was the code, where you actually have done, you have to do this kind of combination where it's pretty intensive. Okay. Any other permutations you want me to talk about? That maybe you are thinking about, so let's bring it up and then we can see. Michelle, you had to raise your hands raised.
Is it possible to do the program in 4 years?
Oh yeah, you can.
Oh,
yeah.
great.
Yeah, we don't recommend it, but you can definitely do it in 4 years. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Typically,
then-
our average is actually 2 point something years, because it's between 3 and 2 years. Yeah. But you can definitely, so if you're doing a 4 year, right? So it doesn't show here because we don't recommend, typically looking at that. So what it is, right? So you have to do your 4 classes in the first year. Okay. So year 2 is elective and year 3 is elective, right? And then this is only becomes your year 4.
Yeah, I had only plans on taking 1 class a semester.
Yeah, then you can do that. Yeah.
And
So-
then another question, if I wanted to take electives that were in the Department of Education, but not associated with technology, is that possible?
You have to get clearance from me. All right, like I mentioned earlier, right? Any elective that's not offered by our department, you need to get clearance as in, a rationale as to why you need to take that class, because you're doing a project that requires that. And secondarily, that course should have some technology component, all right, to qualify for our tech degree. Okay, so you can, like, we have students that have taken class at ICS, and some, maybe some comm classes that have a technology component as well, or library science that have that as well.
Okay.
But always, before you decide to take any classes outside of the department, please clear it with me first, right? Or the our department chair. But I'm your advisor, so I will have to look at that, how it will fit into the program. Yeah. Good
Are
question.
the elective courses in the LTech program, are they in person? Are they all online? Are they Zoom
all-
like these, or what are they
They're all
like?
online, and the majority of our classes, elective classes, are online asynchronous, which means
Asynchronous, fully
Yeah.
online. Okay.
fully online, and then we tend to have optional synchronous sessions. So for example, the two that I offer, 652D, which is authoring e-learning environment virtual reality, and EdTech in formal learning environment, 643, which I will offer next semester. They are online asynchronous with optional sessions on some Wednesdays that you can come in and have consultations, and might do some instruction, but you can just take the entire course without attending any other synchronous sessions too. Keep the questions coming. All right, so now, while you're thinking of questions, let me just talk a little bit about the elective courses. All right, now, like any program, we do tend to have some electives that happen every summer, but the rest are kind of depending on who's available and what we think students are really interested in. Okay, so you just heard me saying 612 is always offered in the summer, right? Because that is something that students will have to take to start their program. Because some students, we have had students now, if you believe it or not, that started the program as a graduate certificate student because they decided, you know, I'm just committing to 15 credits. I don't want to do the full 33 credits master's program. And then eventually they get sucked into the master's program. So we have had students who started with that. And so when you start with, you just do a graduate certificate, you always start in the summer, then the sequencing will follow, right? Because 673 is offered in the fall, 632 in the spring, and then at the same time, you can do at least one more elective with the other classes you think. Okay, so that is to accommodate students who purely do the code certificate. Otherwise, it's really depending on who's available and when, what they want to offer. Okay, so for example, and this is where you always go and look for what's available, right? Class availability, go to My UH, you saw me doing that, My UH, and then click on class availability, in our case, Manoa, right? And you have two, start with the fall 2022, which is the semester, the default semester. Click on learning design and technology and look at what's offered here, right? So all of this. 442 is one of the 400 level electives I said that can be used as a graduate elective. Then you have your required class 600, 602, which you're taking with me and Dr. Pack. And these are the other electives, 643, 654. This is not elective, this is a core required course for our PhD student that I'm doing this semester, quantitative research in tech. And then Mary Hattori is doing 673 for the code program in the fall, right? For students who have started previously. And then there are students who are in the second year going on to finish their master's. So like people like John, who's working on his master's final master's project, will be taking 687 and then 687. Okay, and then the rest are all 700 level courses, and these are all directed with practicum and all that. That is not a really organized course. Okay, so literally speaking, we only have 1, 2, 3, 4 electives offered for this semester, right? So depending, we really had to reduce the number of electives because we lost 2 faculty at the end of last year due to retirement, and because of the budget crunch, we have not been able to replace. It's kind of strange when we have department meetings and we look at, oh, that's all leftovers. Losing 2 tenured faculty in 1 year is a big deficit. So we are not able to offer as many electives as we would like. And it's not going to change until next year at the earliest, which is fall of 2023, when we are allowed to hire new faculty member. So again, when you saw me clicking just now on the fall 2022 extension, which is the outreach college or the so-called online section, it's basically the same courses, but again, remember, if you are self-paying, in order to avoid paying the student fees, you register in this section, right? And they're the same kind of courses, but just a different course registration numbers here and here. Any questions? Is it making sense here? Has every one of you filled out your tentative plan, right? And then, or you want me to look over and talk about people? You have your mic open?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Can you show what the electives were again?
So for this semester, you have 442, which is online asynchronous, right? With Dr. Pack. You have 642 with Dr. Kimura, online asynchronous again. 654, program games and simulation with Dr. Hoffman, online asynchronous. 60 is not, it will not count. 673 with Dr. Hattori, online asynchronous. Now, even though this is a core required course for the code program, you can take it independently, individually, without going to the code certificate. All right, so let me clarify that. 673, 632, and 612, right? You can take those classes even if you're not planning to do the code certificate because they are counted as an elective. So they can be taken individually and not as a group for the code certificate. Does that answer your question, P-Boy? Yeah, good. Excellent. Okay. Now that looks like Josh, you had a question? Your hand raised?
Yeah, I have like what is it? Oh God. The health clearance stuff, but we're online, so why do we have health clearance?
That's a really good question. Unfortunately, that is an administrative requirement that has to be done. And I think Kitty had informed you guys you need to contact them, their office, and get help. It's just a matter of contacting them and providing them the information they need. That's all.
I can speak on behalf of this because
Yeah,
I've
go ahead.
dealt with it every semester as well. Right. So we're in a fully distance program, right? So we are not going to have to set foot on campus. Therefore, we can be exempt from the health requirements. And so to do that, you have to call this number. When you're like registering on STAR, you should get like a notification saying, oh, please contact the Manoa Health Center to remove the hold on your account. Very simple. It's a 5-minute phone call. You call them, tell them, hey, it's my name, my UHID number, please lift the restrictions off my account so that I can register. And they'll do it for you like right then and there. So it's very, it's a little cumbersome that you have to do that every semester, but it's just part of the administrative game that UH has. So you have to learn how to play with it.
Does that answer your question, Josh? I'm sorry, but this is out of our hand, sorry, out of our control, because it's an administrative thing. We always say it should automatically be waived because we are online. But you know how sometimes in bureaucracy, they have that in place and they don't change that. So I don't know what else to say, except to just make that 5-minute call. All right. Now, I assume you haven't done that, correct? All right, so first thing Monday, you have to do it so that you can register as soon as possible so that you won't be charged late fees for not registering in time and paying your tuition in time. I don't quite remember what's does anyone know what's the deadline for this fall semester for late registration? Because
30th, I think.
The 30th? Okay, all right. So you do have some time, but I will do it first thing on Monday. All right, cool. So remember, although you are taking the classes, you're doing all these requirements, we cannot give you a grade unless you are formally registered to MyUH and have paid up for your tuition. All right? Okay, good. Because we have had that happen before when they say, well, I thought I'm registered. Well, when you're taking the class, we provided you access to the course, but if you haven't registered officially in MyUH or paid the tuition, then we cannot offer you a grade, right? Because you haven't been part of the community as defined by UH, having paid your tuition and registered online. Okay. All right. So, Mengwei.
So I just submitted my tuition waiver form, so I haven't registered. From my understanding, I'm supposed to register after that goes through. So if that doesn't happen on Monday, should I email the professors and ask to see if I can get access to their courses, like in case it doesn't process within 1 or 2 days?
Yeah, for sure. Yes. And what other courses are you taking this semester apart from 600 and 602?
I haven't decided yet.
Okay, all right. So yeah. So you will because this is your first semester as a GA, right? So yeah. Otherwise, you could have registered earlier because at this point in time, your paperwork hasn't gone through yet, right? And technically, UH will not give you a tuition waiver unless you work like 12 out of the 16 weeks. All right, so you have to be very, very sure to bug your employer. Yeah, in this case, you're with the OSAS, right? Make sure that they get the paperwork done, that you are officially on in the record as an employee with the as a GA as soon as possible. Because if it's delayed for more than 4 weeks out of the 16 weeks, then you will not qualify for your tuition waiver. Okay, so be very clear about that with them. But you know, if you might be working for them now, but if you are not officially in the system, then it will not count your service for that semester. But GAs have to work at least 12 of the 16 weeks, I believe, but double check with them. Okay, yeah. But so that is a different thing, right? In terms of getting you in the system and getting your waiver. But don't worry about the classes. You are officially in the program. You can take the classes, so we will let you in the class. Again, the bug is whether or not you're officially paid for in the system, so that we can assign you a grade system. Again, this is out of my control or department control, because the UH Manoa system, in terms of recognizing whether you have paid for the tuition in the system, and then you can be given a grade. Okay, so yeah.
Yes, so I do plan to do the 2 years, so I'll probably think about doing an elective right now. However, I noticed that a lot of those days for the electives are TBA. So
yeah, but here, look here, it's online as asynchronous. So there's no required synchronous session. When it says online synchronous, all right, the TBA here refers to only optional one. So you don't have to worry about that. Is that clear?
No, I actually don't quite understand.
All right, in the system, they put online asynchronous, meaning the course is fully online without any weekly synchronous Zoom session. That's why they put
okay,
TBA
so you don't
here.
meet, you just
You
do
don't
the
meet. That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
You don't meet at all, yeah. Yeah. So it's a fully online synchronous course. You don't meet synchronously, but you will have email from your instructor. Like I will email once a week and say, okay, this is the course material, go through it, go do the discussion, submit your assignments, right? On a weekly basis. All right. So they still follow a weekly schedule. You just don't have to meet synchronously in Zoom on a weekly basis. Yeah. The tendency is for most of our, I think all of our elective courses now are all fully online asynchronous. The only course that will have required for you to meet online synchronously on a weekly basis are your core required courses like your 600, 602, next semester 611, 612, 613, sorry. Is that clear, Sawyer? Yeah, good. All right. I know the notation TBA is really confusing because like to be advised, no, that means there's none actually. They should just put none instead of TBA. But I think they put in TBA just so that we as instructor can say, oh, they are sync a optional one, right? Which means I will not hold you to come to that optional session. If you feel you need to, you can come to that, all right? Because I do feel that when I offer online synchronous courses, I feel that I want to offer students who may have questions, who want to meet with me synchronously, some of those optional sessions. It will not be a weekly, maybe it might be once every 2 or 3 weeks. If you have any questions, come for office hours and we can talk about it, all right? Because I feel better as an instructor if I offer optional sessions. And when I have done that, typically I get maybe, 4 or 5 students might come and attend those sessions. But otherwise they won't. I mean, it's fine, A lot of students tell me I don't need to meet with you because you have all the information online. I can do my assignments and I understand the readings. My asynchronous courses tend to have recordings of my lectures that I had in the past, So yeah. Any other questions, concerns? Does it put your mind at ease now in terms of academic planning? Okay, good. So now that you guys all are seems to be okay, I want to see some samples of what you guys have done for your academic planning. Okay, so I'm going to randomly ask, or you can volunteer, share your screen of your academic plan tentatively, and then we can look at it. All right, I'm not going to verify every one of you. I'm going to take your word at it. But if you want me to confirm and see my opinion about that, share your screen. No one wants my free expert advice?
I can show what I was working on.
Sure, go ahead, Maya.
I mean, it's not like groundbreaking or anything.
No, it's not. It's just to make sure that, we are on the right track. I want to see what your plans are. Again, they are not set in stone, right? Okay. So Maya is planning to do in 2 years as well. Yeah. And Maya, for context, remember again, Maya is full-time student. She's not working at this point in time. You might do a part-time job whatever later on, right? So this is what you plan: 600, 602, and 654. Good. So that's one elective. And then 611, 613, and you don't know what elective, that's fine. And then summer you do one. So that way you have done at least 3 electives before you go to second year, right? 1, 2, 3. And then last year you'll do 2 class semester, and that looks perfect. That is perfecto.
Okay, thank you.
Right?
I did have a question. So I know you mentioned if we see the like where we can't register because it says instructor approval needed or something like that. You said we need to email the professor that's teaching that course. Okay,
Yes.
so like for 654, I just send an email. Okay, and we're good.
Yeah. Send an email, say you want to register for the class, then you please provide an override. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Dan is really quick about it. He'll probably reply to you as soon as she gets that email. Yeah. And you have until Monday anyway. So most of us, because Monday is our official start of the semester, so we typically don't release any course content until Monday itself. Yeah. So for this, because with the orientation, I have it up and running. So when you come to Tuesday, your first class session, you have all the materials there. So for 602, I always have to be ahead of the game. Anyone else?
I'll
Meryl?
volunteer.
Go ahead.
I mean, it's not like I haven't. Doesn't appear as though I have sharing permissions.
You should have.
Am I deficient?
Interesting. Anyone else can share? Let's see. No. I know Maya just did that. So.
Meryl, do you have the green button in the middle that says share screen?
I sure do. I sure do.
When you click it, what happens?
Yeah.
I have a box come up, and it's got all the tiles for the different options to share things, but it's not registering. I have just a triangle, a faded triangle with an exclamation point in the middle.
Oh.
I am deficient.
Can you make sure the tab is open? Like go open Chrome and make sure it's open and try.
The tab is open. We've just had something happen. If there's someone else who feels a burning desire, don't wait for me. I've solved the problem. It's just going to take me a minute to.
Okay. All right.
Well, all right. I'm going to have to quit and come back, but I'm not running out. I promise I'm coming right back.
That's fine. That's fine. I trust you, Meryl.
Okay, I'm gonna share screen.
Go ahead. Okay, I see your screen. So you're also planning to do 2 years, yeah? Okay, so here's the issue. You are short of 1 elective before your second year. Can you see that? You have 654 and 6. Oh, okay. Now you're okay. Yeah. All right. So if you're doing 2 electives in the summer, then you will be prepared to go into your second year for your final master's project course, the practicum course 67, 690, and the 2 electives. Yes, that is perfect now.
Is there any courses that you recommend to take as far as electives during the fall or the summer? Like which one you would recommend to take over another?
No, I think all our electives are good, fantastic. Honestly, you can't go wrong with any elective, all right? So here's the thing. I think one of the considerations is, of course, it's best to take electives that really interests you and you want to do it. So sometimes students tell me, Dr. Peter, I want to do your VR class, but the schedule is not being offered. For example, it's not offered this fall. It will not be offered next spring. It will only be offered the fall of the following year. Because again, we are short-handed. I can only offer electives once a year, right? So for this academic year, the only elective I can offer is 643, which is going to be offered in the spring. And then I can only offer the VR one in the fall of 2024, all right? So the best thing again is to look at electives that you like to take, but in order to finish in a timely fashion, especially if you have a 2-year plan, just take any elective that's being offered that semester, all right? So look at the list, for example, this semester you look, okay, of the list you see 654 is something you kind of like, then go ahead and take that. Don't wait for elective until it's offered because it can be risky, all right? Electives cannot be guaranteed. We cannot guarantee, even now I say I can offer once a year, things may happen, all right? I could get run over, and whatever, and I can't offer any courses, then you are stuck if you decide you're going to take one of my electives, right? So every semester, look at the electives and then ask yourself if it sounds interesting. Now, I don't know all the electives because I don't teach all the electives as well. I know somewhat what it's all about. The best thing, if you're not sure, always email the professor who's teaching that class. Dr. Hoffman, I'm interested in 654. I don't know what the course is about. Would you mind sharing a version of the previous syllabus for me to take a look at? We'll do that. I always do that, right? I share my syllabus so you can take a look and see if it's interesting to you, if it's going to fit what we are looking for in the elective. Is that clear? Sawyer?
Oh yes. Is there an easy way to see what electives are offered in what terms?
Only on a term-to-term basis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's only offered once that the system doesn't go far enough and give you the whole thing for 3 years in advance. They don't. They do on a semester. So typically in the fall, right? Sorry, you'll get sometime in the middle. We just submit our spring schedule. So somewhere towards the middle to the end of the fall semester, you see it available online for the spring semester, and then likewise for the summer, you get it sometime towards the middle to the end of the spring semester. So it's on the semester to semester basis. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't plan it out and know. We wish we could, because then it's going to be all set for everyone, but things change. The one that we'll commit to is your core classes. Your core classes will always be offered during the semester of which the sequencing is being done. Okay? Good question. Anyone else would like to share? Go ahead, Meryl. Yeah.
I've resolved my issues. Fun
Good.
fact,
Yeah.
if you want to share your screen, make sure you enable the share preferences, because that's important. So there's your winning tip for today. All right, so I'm going to share mine. I am interested in a 2-year program plus Colt.
Mhm.
Oops, sorry. Everybody
Yep.
see that okay?
Yep, you see it, good. Right, so you have 612 ready, so you are ahead of the game here. 600, 602, that's good. And then you plan to do 2 summer electives. Again, those are tentative, right? Because they are not necessarily going to be offered during the summer. I would recommend during the summer doing 2 summer sessions. The first one starting from May to end of June, early July, and then the second one from July, usually after July 4th, then
Yes.
until the beginning of August, for just before the semester starts. All right, so try and take one at a time. It is possible to do 2 per summer session as well, but it's just going to be more intensive. Just make sure that your time, your workload is going to be adjusted for that. Okay,
Right.
because summer sessions are basically a 16-week course compressed into 6 weeks.
Into
Right?
6
So it's going to be more intense than a regular semester. It's not as leisurely. Okay, that way, and then you are done. You're doing 673 and 632. Yeah, so that's perfect. Yeah, so that way, every semester you're only doing 2 classes. And yes, doing the core is definitely good for you to have done 612 prior to entry. But it's still possible to do it during the summer of this next year if you want to do it. But yeah, that's a perfect scenario there.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, one more last one. Oh, okay, 251. Okay, I'm not going to twist your arm, so make sure you share it with me, right? Then you know, that way if you make any changes, you can let me know. Again, this is not set in stone. It's meant to give you a planning, right? When life happens, switch it, all right? Switch it and then make sure that based on our discussion, you know that, okay, no matter what, I have to take the 4 classes this year, spring, fall, and spring, okay? And after that, you can go on your own speed until your final year, when you're 687, 690, right? That's when you are on the schedule again. Is that clear? Right? In between, you can play with those, depending on what happens and how intense you want the program to be. This semester will give you a good indication of how you would feel in terms of like, it's not, please don't take it as you know you're not smart enough to do it. No, not at all. What I'm saying is you adjust it based on what's happening in your life, right? Your work. If you are starting a new job or your job for some reason this semester is going to be really busy, then you need to adjust for that, right? If you know, if you've been in a job for like 15, 20 years, you're cruising along, you just show up and you do your work, you go home and you have your time to work, then yeah, you can take 9 credits. I have no problem with that, okay? So adjust that according to also your family commitments. For whatever reason, if you're caring for an elderly parent or whatever, grandparent, whatever it is, you have to account for those kind of things, right? So that's why academic planning is very individualized according to what is happening in your life, right? And we are there to support you, right? The goal is to finish, right, in a timely fashion, firstly, but ultimately to finish the program, right? Please commit to yourself that as we are doing the planning here, this is what I'm looking at. I will finish in either 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, but I will finish it, okay? That's your commitment to yourself and to us, all right? And I really hope to celebrate your graduation virtually as well as face-to-face come 2 or 3 years, all right? It's always the best part of our job is to celebrate that with you guys. And we make a big deal about it. If you don't know, other departments don't do it. Even during the pandemic, we do it virtually, but we do it. And this is something our commitment to our Ohana to celebrate. You have a beginning, you have an end. We have bookends, okay? All right, so let's take a break. Yeah, it's 2:50.